On today's episode of Locked On 76ers, we are one day away from the NBA trade deadline on Thursday afternoon, and one name keeps popping up as far as a big man goes. We'll tell you who that is from the West Coast next, right here, Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba.
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. You good? I'm good.
All good, man. Looking forward to this game tonight. A big one for the Sixers against the Boston Celtics in Boston. 7:30 start time, national TV. Huge one between these two division rivals. We'll talk about them coming up here shortly. We'll get into some of the keys to the game as well in that one. And we'll start off with some trade discussion involving the Philadelphia 76ers. But first, we got to introduce ourselves and welcome you, Locked On 76ers. I'm Devon Givens from 97.5 The Fanatic Radio in Philadelphia, alongside my co-host and partner from the Sixers beat writer from theinquirer.com, Keith Pompey. Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On 76ers is free and available on all platforms, including right here on YouTube at Locked On 76ers. Well, Keith, big game tonight, as we talked about. But before we do that, also very important in terms of things that took place with the Kyrie Irving trade, Keith. A lot of times, you're waiting for that one big ball to drop. Who's going to be the first one to make that swing? And the swing went first with the Dallas Mavericks landing Kyrie Irving. And now things are already underway. So with that, there are many names that keep coming up for the trade deadline as we get ready for Thursday afternoon. And one of the names, Keith, we hear a lot of names that fans want to see Daryl Morey and Elton Brand look into from the other teams. But the one that keeps popping up, and I know you do all of your work and you check in and your intel, Jarred Vanderbilt, forward from the Utah Jazz. He was traded in the Rudy Gobert deal from the Minnesota Timberwolves. 6'8" player, went to Kentucky. Really good player, 6'8", 6'9", 23 years of age. He signed a 3-year, $13 million deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he's, on a pretty decent cap-friendly type of deal, man. And he has, in this year, 4.3 and then 4.6 next season remaining on his deal. And he is a talented player, man. He's really good. He's a versatile player and one that I wouldn't be upset if they checked in on Vanderbilt just to see exactly what they could do with him. So, Keith, your thoughts on Jarred Vanderbilt already this season with the Utah Jazz and averaging 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1 steal, 0.3 block shots in 52 games for the Jazz. He's a versatile player. What do you make of him?
He's a versatile player. He's a guy that I remember a couple of years ago, people were saying how much Daryl Morey really liked him. This was a couple of years ago. And, the thing with him is he's not a center, but he can guard all three positions. He can guard the 3, the 4, the 5. And also the Sixers are also looking for a wing as well. So when you consider that he can guard threes, you can look and see his athleticism. He can be sort of like a 2-for-1 for him. Now, again, ideally you want to get a bigger guy. You want to get a bigger center. But when we talk about $4.3 million, that's the same amount of money Matisse Thybulle is making. And then you look at him, and like I said, a 2-for-1, that could be a good bargain for them to get that. The problem is, though, it just seems like that what they're trying to do is, I'm talking about Utah, they were in talks or discussions to possibly package him and Malik Beasley to a team. And there are 3 teams involved, one of them being the Atlanta Hawks. So with that being said, it's like, and also Utah wants a first round pick to be included in the package for him if a team wants him. So I don't know if the Sixers have enough, but he is an intriguing piece. An intriguing piece.
Yeah, and the one thing that we talk about oftentimes with these types of deals, when you are a contending team and everybody's doing their maneuvering and making their changes to their roster, the one thing, Keith, is also you don't want those other teams to get that certain player. For instance, when you go back to the 2021 year where the Sixers were knocked off by the Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee acquired PJ Tucker in that deal, and they eventually won the championship. And you look at that one, the same thing when you look at some of the other teams around the league, and they acquire that player later in your division, in your conference, people you're fighting for in the top of those conferences. You don't want them to get them. So it's not you doing the deal simply because you want to keep them away for that purpose, but it's somewhere in the back of your mind of, I don't want to face this guy. The reason why I'm trading for him is because I think he's a valuable player and he would be valuable against the teams that we play if you clearly like him. So if he goes to Boston or Milwaukee or I don't know, Miami, Cleveland, Atlanta, to your point, then he would make them better. And this is a guy who is versatile, can do a lot of different things. When you talk about the wing position, very, very good. And a slight body, slight frame, can move his feet, though, beat you to the spots. Also, with the big bodies, he's just smart of how he uses his timing, his footwork, his hands, not reaching and things of that nature, and can block some shots. His numbers don't tell it for this season, but he can block shots there at the rim. So the other part with that, Keith, if they were able to strike out with a bigger player, and they were able to get Vanderbilt, they could always still, last resort, you improve your team by adding Vanderbilt. You think last resort going to get one of those big bodies on the buyout market?
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
that's the
think that.
last resort to it.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot of options that way, that route in the buyout market. I think, like, right now the focus is probably getting under the cap, making some other moves, I mean, things like that to help them. And then that will enable them to, like, when they get underneath, after they make those moves, if they make them, then they can go out there and get somebody, sign them to a minimum, on from the buyout market, and they should be fine.
Well, I mean, let's see if that is the case because they might have to go that direction and and look that way if they in fact get Vanderbilt, but no more size outside of that if it comes to him. But he's an intriguing name for me. He's a very intriguing name for me when it comes to him. So we got to talk about some more things overall around the league, but we'll also talk about the Boston Celtics as they take on the 76ers tonight. They host the Sixers in an important game. Sixers and Celtics have only played once this season. That was the opener. And in that opener, the Boston Celtics took down the Sixers at TD Garden, and the Sixers are looking for a little revenge against their division rival. So we'll do that shortly here as we check back in with you right here on Locked On 76ers. But I got to tell you about as we look at new places, new homes for some of these players, we talk about jobs, right? And jobs, how important they are. But you also may have your own small business. And as a small business owner or hiring manager, you know that success in 2023 all depends on the team members you surround yourself with. I surround myself with Keith Pompey. I'm in good hands, but I also, like you, may want a few more people around to make things go a little smoother. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have the skills, values, and experiences to help you achieve your goals. LinkedIn Jobs helps you attract qualified candidates to your open jobs with targeting tools. They go beyond resume data by using insights from your job post, company, and their 875 million member profiles to put your post in front of the most qualified candidates. Identify the most qualified candidates on LinkedIn Jobs and connect with them fast and for free. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to screen and rate applicants based on your job qualifications all on one platform. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, welcome back to Locked On 76ers. Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. What else, Keith, when you look at things? Welcome back, everybody, Locked On 76ers. What other center options via trade or the buyout market, in addition to Jarred Vanderbilt, as we focused on him in the first segment, what other options would you believe are potentially out there via trade? And then, of course, what they have available in the buyout.
It's weird because I think Nerlens Noel, like we talked about him beforehand, but another person's name who keeps popping up, and depending on what Chicago wants to do, is Andre Drummond. And if the 76ers would be able to get him, I mean, that would be huge, I think. And then there's other people let's say,
Hold on. Did you see the move Nerlens did again last night? Remember the infamous move where he was trying to do a Euro step and he airballed he did it again.
Oh, that was Drummond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, but you know what? That's a matter of just standing. Matter of fact, it's funny, man, because I was watching that before.
Oh man!
Before we did this podcast, I was looking at a friend of mine saw it. But you know what? That's one of those things where everybody thinks it's easy. It's easy because you see Joel doing that stuff, and it's hard. Like that's one of those. Like it was a great idea, but bad at poor execution.
Yes.
He got the ball on the wing. I mean, he stole the ball and was going, and he just should have just
finger roll.
Airball came.
Oh man.
And he's like, oh, you can't touch it. But anyway, yeah, I saw that.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think. I mean, let's just say and now here's the thing. Some people think that Chicago is going to raise up the ante, and I don't even know if Chicago is interested in teams like that. Mm-hmm. But they're saying Chicago is going to up the ante, so where you're going to have to, people are going to have to pay more. But let's just say if Chicago figures like, hey, we're struggling, we're not going to do anything, we might as well buy them out, right? And if they buy them out, then that's a good option. Something else that people need to check into is there's a lot of trades happening. San Antonio just traded for Dwayne Dedmon.
Second round pick, right?
Second round pick. Let's just say, I don't know, but what if San Antonio says, you know what, we're tanking Dwayne. We know this ain't where you want to be.
Yeah, because he wasn't happy there the first time.
Yeah, he wasn't happy there the first time, and let's just buy you out. And then you know what, it could be possibly that could be something for the Sixers. So
do you like that option?
I do. The only thing I like Dwayne Dedmon. I mean, of the people that I like him a lot. The thing about it is, the thing is it's like when he was here the last time, he hated it. And remember, they was giving out those crazy 8-year. It wasn't that long, but it was like these extended contracts where everything was non-guaranteed. And Dwayne Dedmon was like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. But it's a different time now.
That was with Sam Hinkie.
Yeah, that was Sam, but it was crazy. So, and then there could be some other options. I think that there's going to be a lot of people available. It's funny. The one guy I like now, he's a starter though, and I haven't heard anything about him becoming a buyout guy, but I like Mason Plumlee.
I was going to bring him up. That was my.
I like him. That's who I like. That's who I like.
Yeah, he would be one. He would have a lot of suitors if that was the case. Exactly. A lot of suitors.
Exactly. So, I mean, there'll be some option. You're right. You can go out there and get Vanderbilt and then come in the buyout market and get somebody. But again, we're talking about the 76ers. They're in third place. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to try to get people. The Boston Celtics are going to try to get people. Denver Nuggets going to try to get people. All these teams who have opportunities to win chips are going to try to do it. So it's not like the Sixers are the only team that can squeeze them in. So it's going to be competition that way.
So if in fact you look at someone like Dwayne Dedmon, and let's assume Montrezl Harrell stays here, Paul Reed as well, and they look at the landscape here in Philadelphia versus some other places, how attractive would it be for, let's say, someone like specifically Dedmon, because he wants to score. Mason Plumlee is not worried about that, but for Dedmon, when he looks at a situation where Plumlee gets the minutes because he's a scorer, but he's going to get more defensive minutes, how is he going to look at, and I'm asking hypothetically because you clearly can't answer that question, but looking at the fact that they'll have a big man on the roster that gets 5 minutes and he gets them because he scores, knowing that you can get defensive minutes but can also score, I wonder how much that will play into a factor.
I don't know, man. If it's Boston Celtics are saying, hey, I want you to come here, I'm looking at Boston.
He will go there. Yep.
Yeah, I think I will go there. You know what I mean? And no offense to the Sixers, but it's kind of like at that point, you just a mercenary. Like you just a hired gun to come and try to get a chip, and you're going to go to the team.
You're doing that in either place. It's just a matter of they're going to want time.
Well, you're going to want time, but also you're going to go to the place that you think is going to win the chip. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you're going to get time too. Like basically, you assume that they're going to play you, but to me, I'm going to the places not a place that I think will get to the conference finals. I'm going to the team I think is going to win it all. You know what I mean? That's just me. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. Mason Plumlee is a really good name. Dwayne Dedmon is an interesting name. And then we'll see the others that are already there and available on the buyout. And other names might drop and also get into the mix there as well. On the other side, our final segment, we'll talk about the Sixers and the Celtics tonight. Big matchup between these two conference-leading teams. Celtics at 38-16, Sixers 34-18. We'll talk about them next right here on Locked On 76ers.
For now, let's talk about FanDuel, right? Why I want to talk about FanDuel? Because this year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that makes betting on sports fun and easy. This is what you need to do. You need to download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with no sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if it doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score a touchdown. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Best of all, you can get paid your winnings instantly, right? So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Okay, welcome back. Locked On 76ers. That's Keith Pompey, and I am Devon Givens. Sixers, Celtics. Gave you the records. Celtics are in the top seed in the Eastern Conference right now. The 76ers are third, or right there behind them, 3 games back in the standings. And as of right now, Keith, first of all, dating back to the first game of the season where the Celtics dropped the Sixers by final score 126-117. James Harden had 35 and 7 in that game. Embiid had 15 rebounds, but they lost again by 9 points in that particular game. And as I said, as far as the standings go, the Sixers are currently 3 games back of the Celtics, 2 games back of Milwaukee in the standings. Keith, when you look at this one, man, this is a huge matchup between these two teams. Do you see a better showing from them against the Celtics in this one, as the Celtics are 6-4 in their last 10, where the Sixers are 8-2 in their last 10?
You know what? I mean, you hope to see a better showing, but after looking at how they played the Orlando Magic, and looking at how they played the New York Knicks, I mean, I don't know if we're going to see a better showing. I mean, you would hope because it's a big game. You saw some improvement, but it looked like they took a couple steps backwards in the recent games. See, the problem that the Sixers have is that they tend to struggle a little bit against athletic wings, good quality wings, and we're talking about the Boston Celtics here. They have much more talent than the Orlando Magic and much more talent than the New York Knicks. Now, again, all this stuff that I'm saying right now, whenever we feel this way about the Sixers, is when they typically come out and surprise us, is when they come out ready to play and focus. But I look at it right now that, first of all, I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two hard guys to guard when you have both of them cooking like they were the first game.
Very difficult to defend. Tough guys to defend, sure, and they're going to have their hands full tonight. So, are those the two main? Those are the main two matchups, as we both know. Any other one that you look at as far as matchups go that you really have your eyes on?
Well, the one I really want to have my eyes on is, and you probably feel the same way, is I don't want to speak for you, but Al Horford has had a lot of success over the years against Embiid. I
Hmm.
really would love to see that matchup, see how they do that. Whoever's guarding Malcolm Brogdon, you're gonna have to do a whole lot better than what happened the first time, because as much as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both had 35 points, the game was won because of Malcolm Brogdon. He
Came
came
in,
off,
took
yeah,
over.
he came in was killing. I mean, he had 16 points on 7 for 11 shooting. So those, I mean, that right there is like, I really want to see that whoever's guarding up on him, and it could be him and Maxey. I don't know because they're both coming off the bench, but I don't think you want to put Maxey on him. It might have to be Matisse or somebody, but yeah, I really want to. That's the guy that I really want to pay attention to.
Yeah, that was mine. The obvious choices, as you talked
Oh, my
about, were
bad.
the two wings. No, it's fine. Two wings, and then the Embiid Horford matchup. So I went to the Brogdon part because he did destroy them in that first game. So he's been tremendous.
He was taking names, bruh, taking names.
Six Man of the Year candidate, and for good reason. He's been a tremendous addition for that team. So they've cooled off a bit. So I hope the Sixers go in there with the right mindset to see how they. I hope we get a much better game overall in this one between these two teams. Yep. All right. Well, tomorrow we'll talk to you all, and when we get to you tomorrow, we'll recap the game. It'll be our last time to talk about the trade deadline. Some final things maybe that we might unearth here on the show, and really appreciate everybody sticking in with us. We thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day, and now make your second listen Locked On NBA. Locked On Experts, covering the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Keith, can you let the good folks know where they can find us?
Like my man D said, wherever you get your podcast, you can get this podcast too, people. But when you go to our YouTube channel, click on the Liberty Bell, and you become a subscriber. You get notifications whenever we do stuff. In addition to that, make sure you listen to my man D from 6 to midnight on the Divine Giving Show, right? So now what he's going to do is he's going to do his show pregame, and then all of a sudden the game comes on, and then he does the post-game show, right? So you do that. Make sure you listen into my man there. You can watch it on TV, but listen to like D before he goes. Listen to my man Tom again is afterwards, and then soon you get done, go straight, turn it up, turn the volume up high, and make sure you listen to D breaking the game down. But
That's right.
also follow D on Twitter at DivineG975. You can follow me on Twitter at Pompey on Sixers, and you can read my stuff in the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Keith, as always, man, great catching up, great conversation, and we'll see how things go tonight between the Sixers and Celtics, and then the trade stuff begins because they don't play again until Friday. So that'll be it. Have a great one, man. Talk to you later.
All right, bro. Peace.
Thank you.